live at the position, see attached posting notice.
Maybe explain to the council a bit about our current, or our staffing at 3 officers, how many hours that gets us of coverage, and full-time versus part-time, what your philosophy with that is, and how soon you think we would need to move forward on the open.
With Sam leaving and myself going to the chief's position, there would be a full-time officer, Cody Belloc, and I believe Cody works 10-hour shifts, sometimes 8-hour shifts, sometimes in between. We try to, if we get overtime issues, we'll have them try to work, come in a little late, or stay later one night, or go home early. It really varies, but we have...
Break it up a little bit to make it out to 40.
Right. We have a part-time police officer, Chris Frick, who is, I'm not sure exactly how long he's been with us, but he is working a majority of the hours, and the schedule, that will be in September. I'm not sure how long the process will take or what, but he's going to be filling in at that time. Then we also have one other part-time officer that we're using. It's Wade Anderson. You guys familiar with Wade? He has a part-time job where he's working almost full-time hours at Gunderson and doing security down there. So we usually use the part-time people for weekend days, holidays, so we don't have to pay the expensive people for overtime on holidays and such. We had another gentleman who was our main person that we would work, and he just recently was hired by the sheriff's office. He said he will still work part-time for us, but I've been doing this a long time, and they always say that they hardly ever come back once they've gotten established, because they've worked so many part-time jobs, and now they're getting a sense of, whew, I can take a breath and finally made it. So I'm going to be in the process of trying to get some more part-time people licensed, and it's going to take up some time to do some backgrounds and stuff like that.
So as far as you're concerned, we should move on this.
I would strongly urge you guys to try to get that spot filled, just so I can get some part-time people. It would free up as far as their schedule for right now. But if one of these people were to leave us, which they do, then we would be left with a part-time person that works at Gunderson full-time almost. So,
what does the pool of available part-timers out there look like?
There's a constant group of people that come out of law enforcement, and some don't fit into our small town atmosphere, if you will. We've been pretty selective in the past, and I think you guys, if you had any interactions with them, you found that they've been good and courteous people while they're still trying to do their job. And they're out there. The good people are out there, but we're just we have to weed through and find who they are.
So right now our bullpen, so to speak, is a little thin.
Our bullpen is thin. Yep. I have a couple people that we're looking to pull up from the minor leagues to play with us. So.
As long as one of them's not Nishioka.
So your shift and your sergeant or next one up covers 8 hours a day?
My shift will be a Monday through Friday, and a day shift, and that will be approximately 9.6 hours, 9.64 hours during the day, and one part-time person would work approximately 9.6 hours rounded off. Or actually, this would be 8, wouldn't be Kathy, because he was hired separately.
Well, you have generally like 22 hours a day, right?
Right. We try to have 22 hours.
With all the shifting of the different hours.
So someone's on call
mostly
before and
22
after
hours of
shifts
coverage.
usually.
So do we need all that coverage?
I would say that we do need that coverage, and the reason being, it's an insurance plan. Just like we all have insurance on our cars and our houses, we hate to pay for it, but when somebody breaks into our house or a child goes missing and we have to try to call somebody, we lose valuable time. I think that our citizens pay a lot of money, we all know that, and they deserve to have somebody respond quickly and efficiently to their calls and their needs. So I believe with all my heart that we need to provide that service for our citizens.
All right, can we proceed with the posting of the position of police officer for interested and qualified employees? That is a recommendation of the Labor Management Subcommittee.
I'd kinda like to see a plan laid out, how to utilize, how many hours a day. That's what I'd like to see.
As far as, what do you mean, Roger?
As far as, coverage per day. What's the coverage per day now?
We're right around 22 hours of coverage.
On and off call.
Yep.
Right.
So, my question is, couldn't we cut it down to 16?
Well, of course you could. What you're going to run into is, like I guess I mentioned a little earlier, there's going to be times where we need to have somebody and it needs to be, they need to be there, you know? And we can't afford to wait for some part-time person or somebody who's on call to come from where, you know, we've had people from Winona be on call, and I think the citizens of Rushford deserve better than that.
So doesn't the sheriff department cover part of it?
I think Steve would agree with me. The sheriff's office, they do a very good job with what they have. They're spread out pretty thin, and they only have to respond to emergency calls such as felonies, and people in danger and stuff like that. So,
Even with one of our officers on call, they're probably going to respond quicker than the sheriff deputy would get over here. By and
they may
large.
be called from Spring Valley.
So the plan would be for you to work those 9.64 hours and then Cody Frick taking over, filling in the rest of the, maybe a 8-hour, 9-hour shift as well?
He would work, I just looked at a schedule where we could have people work 8 on and then 6 off, and 8 on and 6 off. And then that would be rotated between 2 full-time police officers where they would work opposites of each other at nights.
And that would minimize your overtime.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then, in order, say, if Cody and Adam or you worked in a day, and then there would have to be a part-timer that would take over after those people to fill in those 21 hours. Or would there be any coverage at all after the...
What would happen is usually between, let's say I come in at 8 o'clock, somebody is on call before I come on, and if somebody goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, somebody's on call until somebody comes in, and it just keeps going, it keeps rotating. So.
But of course, they don't go off and on at exactly the same time every day, otherwise that would be
Right.
telling the bad guys that the town is empty, you know.
Gotta vary that up.
So like on weekends, you plan on having one person work? Or how many people on?
Usually the weekends, the way the schedule will work, we have a full-time officer will work 1 shift, and part-time we fill in with like day shifts with part-time people. If it need be, for the part-time police officer, he has a job someplace else and he wants to work a night shift instead of a day shift. If they work that out with that full-time officer, they can switch back and forth as to what shift they need. But
One of my questions is, do we need a full-time officer Sunday mornings?